There are no coincidences. Think about it for a moment. Out of all the things you could be doing right now, out of the millions of voices and messages in this world, you landed here. Why? Because something deep inside of you is calling. A force, a whisper, a pull towards something greater. You didn't just stumble upon this message by accident. You were meant to hear this. This is not just another video. This is a wake-up call. A call to remember, to reconnect, to reclaim something you may have forgotten. And if you listen closely, if you truly open yourself to what's about to be revealed, this message has the power to shift everything. Have you ever had a moment in life that keeps coming back? A childhood memory that won't fade, no matter how much time has passed? It could be a conversation, a feeling, an experience, something so small yet so powerful that it shaped how you see yourself today. Right now, your mind might be searching, trying to grasp onto a moment that fits. Maybe it was a time when you felt misunderstood, unseen, different. Or maybe it was a time when you stood your ground, when you felt an undeniable strength within you, even if no one else saw it. That memory is not random. It is not meaningless. It holds a message for you, a lesson, a truth about who you really are. And today, you're going to uncover it. If you've ever felt like an outsider, if you've ever wondered why you think differently, feel deeper, and sense things before they happen, it's because you were never meant to blend in. The world has tried to make you forget this. They told you to stop dreaming, to stop questioning, to be realistic. But something inside you always resisted. Because you knew, deep down, you always knew that you were meant for something more. And that inner knowing, that unshakable, undeniable feeling that you were meant for something greater, that's not a coincidence. That is your truth trying to break free. Now, I need you to do something. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you need to. And let your mind drift back to your childhood, back to a moment when you felt something shift. What was it? What did you feel? What did you learn from it? That memory is trying to tell you something. Will you listen? Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal exactly why you were led here today. Have you ever had a moment from your childhood that refuses to fade? A memory so strong, so vivid, that even after all these years, it lingers in the back of your mind? You can almost feel it, hear it, relive it. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just your imagination. That memory is a message, a lesson, a piece of your past that is still shaping your present. Think about it. Why do certain moments stick with us while others fade? Why do some experiences leave a permanent imprint on our souls? It's because they hold something valuable, something we were meant to remember. But life moves fast. We grow up, we get distracted, and we forget to look back. Yet, that memory keeps resurfacing. Not as a coincidence, but as a reminder. A whisper from your younger self. Close your eyes for a moment. Let your mind drift back. What is the first childhood memory that comes to you? Is it a moment of joy or a moment of pain? Is it something that made you feel powerful or something that made you question everything? Whatever it is, don't ignore it. That memory is here for a reason. It is asking you to see something you may have overlooked. Maybe it was the first time you stood up for yourself. Maybe it was the first time you felt misunderstood, different, or out of place. Or maybe it was the first time you realized the world was not as simple as it seemed. Whatever it was, that moment shaped you. It planted a seed inside you, a belief, a lesson, a realization that has been guiding you ever since. But here's the thing. Most people never stop to decode these memories. They brush them off as random thoughts, as unimportant fragments of the past. But the chosen ones, the ones who truly rise, they pay attention. They look deeper. They understand that within those moments lie the keys to their transformation. What if that memory is trying to tell you something about who you really are? What if it's a clue to your purpose, your strength, your path? What if everything you've been searching for has been inside you all along, hidden within the lessons of your past? Take a deep breath. Let that memory come to you. Don't force it. Just allow it to surface naturally. And when it does, don't push it away. Sit with it. Feel it. Listen to what it has to say, because within that single memory, you may just find the answer you've been looking for all along. Why now? Why this moment? Everything in life happens for a reason. Every experience, every challenge, every victory, and even every pain, it has all been leading you to this exact moment. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Right now, as you listen to these words, something inside you is awakening. Something deep within you is starting to stir. And it's not a coincidence. Think about it. Why are you here at this exact moment? Why are you hearing this message now? Not yesterday, not last year, but now. The answer is simple. Because you are ready. Ready to see what you couldn't see before. Ready to connect the dots. Ready to unlock the message that life has been trying to show you all along. You've been through moments of confusion. Moments where you questioned yourself, questioned your journey, questioned your purpose. But the truth is, your past has never been holding you back. It has been preparing you. Every setback, every delay, every unanswered question was shaping you into the person you were meant to become. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And now, the time has come. The pieces are coming together. A moment of realization is about to hit you. A memory, a thought, a feeling. Something is going to surface, and when it does, it will change the way you see everything. You are standing at the doorway of a new level of understanding. Close your eyes for a second. Breathe in deeply. Feel the energy around you. This is your moment of transformation. The past is not something to fear, not something to escape. It is something to embrace. It is something to learn from. It is something to use as fuel for your next step. Because the past is not holding you back. It's showing you the way forward. The question is, are you ready to see it? Some memories fade with time. They slip away like whispers in the wind, becoming distant echoes of a past we barely remember. But then there are those memories, the ones that stay. The ones that refuse to be forgotten. The ones that, no matter how much time passes, still feel as fresh as the day they happened. You know the kind of memory I'm talking about. It could be a moment of pure happiness, a time when you felt unstoppable, like the world was yours to conquer. Or maybe it was a moment of pain, a lesson wrapped in difficulty, something that left a mark on your soul. Whatever it is, there's a reason why it still lingers. There's a reason why, out of all the experiences you've had, this one stands out. What if I told you that this memory is not just a part of your past? It's a key to your future. What if hidden inside that memory is a message meant just for you? A clue to your strength, your purpose, your destiny? Think back for a moment. Go deep into your childhood. What is the first memory that comes to mind? It could be something small, something seemingly insignificant. But pay attention, because the things we overlook often hold the most powerful lessons. Maybe it was a moment when you stood up for yourself for the very first time. Maybe it was when someone doubted you, but you proved them wrong. Maybe it was a time when you felt lost, but somehow you found your way. These memories are not just events. They are symbols. Symbols of who you truly are. You were never weak. Even in your most vulnerable moments, you were learning resilience. You were never lost. Even in your confusion, you were developing wisdom. And you were never alone. Even in the moments when you felt unseen, something greater was shaping your path. This childhood memory you're recalling right now, it is not random. It is a reminder of your strength, a reminder of your potential, a reminder that deep inside you, everything you need to succeed has always been there. Now, the real question is, can you see it? Can you decode the message? Because once you do, your entire perspective will shift. The past is not just something you look back on. It is something you learn from. It is something that guides you. And if you pay attention, it will show you exactly who you were meant to be. As children, we experience life in its purest form. Every emotion, every reaction, every thought is raw and unfiltered. We don't overanalyze. We don't second guess. When we're happy, we glow with joy. When we're sad, we allow ourselves to feel it deeply. When something excites us, we dive in without hesitation. We live in the moment, fully immersed in the experience. But as we grow older, something changes. Society teaches us to suppress, to doubt, to rationalize everything before we feel it. We start questioning our instincts, silencing our inner voice, and burying the emotions that once guided us so effortlessly. The world tells us to move on from the past, to forget the things that shaped us. But in doing so, we lose touch with something powerful, the silent messages hidden in our experiences. Think back to when you were a child. The moments that made you feel the most alive, the most afraid, the most powerful. Those moments weren't random. They carried meaning. They held lessons. And even now, they are whispering to you, waiting to be understood. Maybe there was a time when you were fearless, taking on challenges without hesitation. Back then, you didn't overthink. You just did. You believed in yourself without needing validation. What happened to that version of you? Why did you stop trusting your gut? That moment from your past is reminding you that the courage you once had is still inside you. It never left. Or maybe there was a moment when someone doubted you, underestimated you, made you feel like you weren't good enough. But instead of breaking you, it fueled something inside you. It made you want to prove them wrong. It planted a fire in you that still burns to this day. That wasn't just a painful experience. It was a moment of transformation, a silent message that you were built for more. And what about the dreams you had as a child? The things that excited you, that made your heart race with possibility? Before the world told you what was realistic, before limitations were placed on you, what did you truly believe was possible? That vision, that passion was a glimpse into who you were meant to become. But life distracted you. Responsibilities piled up. Fear crept in, and you started convincing yourself that those dreams were childish. But they weren't. They were yours, and they were real. You see, nothing from your past was meaningless. Every moment, every feeling, every struggle, it all carried a message, a lesson meant to guide you. But most people miss it. They see their childhood as a collection of memories rather than a blueprint for their future. They forget to listen. But you right now, you are waking up to it. You are remembering. You are realizing that your past is not just something to look back on. It's something to learn from. It's something that still speaks to you. If you're willing to hear a T.S.O., take a deep breath. Let your mind wander back. Let the emotions come. Somewhere inside you, a message is waiting. A lesson from your younger self. A truth that was never meant to be forgotten. The question is, are you ready to hear it? Right now, take a deep breath and close your eyes for a moment. Let your mind drift back to a moment in your past that changed something inside you. A moment that shaped the way you see yourself today. Can you recall it? Was it a time of struggle? A time of victory? A time when you felt completely alone? Or a time when you realized your own strength? That moment wasn't just something that happened. It was a message meant for you. And within it lies the key to your next breakthrough. Think about it. Every person carries a defining moment. Maybe it was a childhood experience that left an imprint on your soul. Something someone said to you, something that made you feel invisible, unwanted, or misunderstood. Or maybe it was a moment of triumph when you proved to yourself and the world that you could rise above the odds. But whatever that moment was, it didn't just pass by. It shaped you. It built the mindset you have today. If it was a moment of pain, maybe it made you cautious, hesitant, afraid to take risks. Maybe it convinced you that you had to shrink yourself to fit in, to be accepted, to avoid standing out. Or maybe it did the opposite. It made you hungry, relentless, determined to never feel that kind of pain again. It made you strong, even when you didn't realize it. If it was a moment of victory, maybe it was the first time you realized your true power. The first time you saw what happens when you push through your limits, when you silence the doubt, when you step into your real potential. That moment wasn't just a memory. It was a preview of what you are capable of. A glimpse into what's possible when you step into your true self. Now, ask yourself, what did that moment teach you? What truth was hidden in it? Was it telling you that you're stronger than you think? That you're meant for more? that you've been carrying power inside you this entire time, but you've been too busy looking for external validation to see it? That moment is proof that you have everything you need to move forward, to break through whatever is holding you back today. Most people ignore these moments. They dismiss them as just memories. They don't realize that these experiences were life's way of communicating with them, preparing them, molding them into the person they were meant to be. But you're different. You're waking up to it. You are recognizing that your past isn't just something to look back on. It's something to learn from, something to unlock. And now, the real question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you let this realization fade away like just another thought? Or will you use it? Will you finally allow yourself to break free from the old patterns, the old fears, the old doubts that have been silently controlling your life? Will you take the message that your past has been trying to show you and turn it into fuel for your future? This is your moment. Right now, you are standing at the edge of transformation. You've been given a key. The only thing left to do is use it. Your childhood struggles were never a mistake. Take a moment, breathe, and think back to the earliest memories of your struggle. The moments that made you feel like an outsider, like you were different from everyone around you. Those times when you questioned, why am I like this? Why don't I fit in? Why does life feel harder for me than it does for others? What if I told you those struggles weren't a mistake? What if everything you went through was shaping you, preparing you, setting you apart for something greater? Why you always felt different? If you've ever felt like you didn't belong, like your mind worked differently, like your heart carried a weight others couldn't understand, it's because you weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. From the beginning, your soul carried a fire, a knowing, an energy that set you apart. While others followed the crowd, you questioned things. While others accepted what they were told, you searched for deeper truths. That curiosity, that hunger for something more was never a flaw. It was a gift. But being different wasn't easy, was it? There were times you wished you could just be like everyone else, just feel what they felt, just think how they thought. But deep inside, you knew you were built for something more. That restlessness, that urge to break free, wasn't a burden, it was a signal. A sign that you weren't here to live an ordinary life. And now, looking back, you realize all those times you felt left out, all those moments of isolation, were never about rejection. They were about redirection. Life was setting you apart for a reason. Now, think about the challenges you've faced as a child. The struggles, the moments of pain, the times you felt unheard, unseen, misunderstood. Maybe you faced rejection. Maybe you carried burdens that no child should ever have to carry. Maybe you had to grow up too fast. But here's what no one told you back then. Those challenges weren't there to break you. They were there to build you. Every hardship was refining you, molding you into the person you were meant to become. While others were being comforted, you were being strengthened. While others were being sheltered, you were being prepared. And yes, it was unfair. Yes, it was painful. But look at who you are today. Look at the resilience you carry, the wisdom you've gained, the emotional depth you possess. These are things that cannot be taught. They can only be earned through experience, through fire, through survival. You didn't just go through hardship. You grew through it. And now, that growth is your greatest weapon. Let's talk about the moments no one saw. The nights you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if things would ever get better. The mornings you woke up carrying a weight no one else understood. The times you had to push through, even when your heart felt heavy, even when everything in you wanted to give up. But you didn't give up. You kept going. You kept pushing. And without realizing it, you were growing. You were developing a strength that most people will never have. A kind of resilience that can't be faked, can't be taught, can't be copied. Think about it. How many times did you pick yourself up when no one was there to help you? How many times did you wipe your own tears, silence your own doubts, push past your own fears? That strength never left you. It's still inside you, waiting for you to activate it. This is why your struggles were never a mistake. They were training ground. They were preparing you for this moment, for this stage of your life. Because now, you have something most people don't. You have experience. You have wisdom. You have power. And it's time to use it. unlocking the message in your memory. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let your mind drift. Let it travel back in time, back to a moment from your childhood that has been trying to resurface. Maybe it's a memory that comes to you often, one that lingers in your thoughts, one that feels important, but you've never really understood why. Maybe it's a moment you haven't thought about in years, buried deep beneath everything you've been through. But now, in this moment, let it come. Don't force it. Just allow it to rise naturally. It might be a memory of joy, of curiosity, of innocence. Or it might be a memory of pain, of confusion, of something that shaped you in ways you didn't fully realize at the time. Think back to where you were, what you felt, what the world looked like in that moment. What was happening around you? Who was there? What emotions are tied to that experience? This memory is surfacing for a reason. It holds something for you. A message, a lesson, a truth that is still waiting to be fully understood. Now, ask yourself, why does this memory stand out? What is it trying to tell you? Look deeper. This wasn't just an ordinary moment. It was a defining moment. Whether you knew it at the time or not, it left a mark on you. It shaped something in you. Did it teach you resilience, the ability to keep going, to stand strong, even when life tested you? Did it show you that no matter what happened, you had the power to push forward? Did it teach you self-trust, the understanding that you had to rely on yourself, that you had to listen to your own intuition, even when no one else understood you? Or did it plant a seed of something greater inside you? Maybe it was the first moment you realized you were different. The first moment you felt that urge to rise above your circumstances. The first moment you caught a glimpse of the person you were meant to become. Everything that happens in our childhood leaves an imprint. Some memories fade away, but others stay because they hold something we still need to learn. And this memory, the one you're thinking of right now, has been waiting for you to unlock its meaning. Now, let's connect the dots. That moment, that experience wasn't random. It wasn't just a passing event. It was part of a bigger plan, part of the foundation that built you. Think about where you are today. The way you think, the way you react, the choices you make. It all traces back to those early moments. That memory didn't just happen and disappear. It planted something inside you, something that has been growing all this time. Maybe it taught you strength, and that's why you refuse to back down in life now. Maybe it taught you independence, and that's why you can stand alone even when others doubt you. Maybe it showed you pain, and that's why you understand things on a deeper level than most people ever will. Nothing in your life has been random. Every experience, every struggle, every breakthrough, it's all connected. You weren't just surviving back then, you were becoming the person you are today. And that journey isn't over yet. This is your moment to step back and truly see it. To realize that the story of your life has been unfolding perfectly, even in the moments that didn't make sense at the time. The answers you've been looking for, they've been inside you all along, hidden in the memories you carry. And now you finally see it. You finally understand. Your childhood gifts, they were always there. Think back to when you were a child, before the world told you who to be, before you were taught what was right and wrong to pursue. You had instincts, natural, unfiltered, powerful instincts. Maybe you were the child who always asked deep questions, wondering about the meaning of things that others overlooked. Maybe you were the quiet observer, noticing patterns, reading people, understanding emotions before anyone ever explained them to you. Or maybe you were the dreamer, the one who saw possibilities where others saw limits, the one who imagined a world bigger, brighter, and more meaningful than the one in front of you. Or perhaps you were the leader, the one others naturally followed, even if you didn't realize it at the time. These weren't just childhood quirks. They were signs of the gifts you were given, the strengths you carried from the very beginning. But somewhere along the way, those gifts got buried. As we grow, society begins to shape us, sometimes in ways that make us forget who we truly are. The world, with all its expectations, started telling you to be realistic, to stay in line, to follow the rules. You were encouraged to blend in, to think like everyone else, to silence that part of you that was different, that was powerful, that was you. Maybe you were told to stop dreaming, to stop asking so many questions, to focus on what was practical instead of what set your soul on fire. You might have been made to feel like your natural way of thinking, feeling, or creating wasn't valuable, that it was just a phase or something you'd grow out of. And so little by little, you adjusted. You dimmed your light. You started second-guessing yourself. You ignored the instincts that once felt so clear. But here's the truth. Your true nature never disappeared. It's still inside you, waiting to be recognized again. Today is the day you start reclaiming what was always yours. That deep thinker, that dreamer, that leader, that creator, it was never lost. It was only buried under the noise, under the expectations, under the doubts the world placed on you. But now you see it. Now you remember. You were never meant to fit into a mold. You were meant to break through it. Your instincts, your gifts, your unique way of seeing the world, they were never wrong. They were never a mistake. The things that made you different as a child were the very things that made you special. It's time to trust them again. It's time to step back into the power you always had. You don't have to become something new. You just have to remember who you've always been. Breaking free from limitations. You're not who you used to be. For so long, you've carried beliefs that were never truly yours. Ideas planted in your mind when you were too young to question them. Maybe someone told you that you weren't good enough, that you weren't capable, that you had limits. And without even realizing it, you accepted those words as truth. You made them a part of your identity. Somewhere deep inside, a voice kept whispering, maybe they're right. And so you shrank. You played small. You let the world decide what was possible for you. But what if I told you that those limitations were never real? What if I told you that they were only illusions, shadows of someone else's doubts projected onto you? Think about it. Every time you hesitated, every time you second-guessed yourself, was it truly because you weren't capable? Or was it because you were carrying a belief that was never yours to begin with? It's time to let go of those old, worn-out stories. They don't belong to you anymore. The truth is, you're not defined by who you used to be. You're not defined by your mistakes, your past struggles, or the opinions of others. You are defined by the choices you make today. Imagine for a moment that your life is a book. The pages of your past are already written, filled with experiences that shaped you, lessons that taught you, and moments that tested you. But here's what most people forget. You hold the pen. The story isn't over. A new chapter is waiting to be written, and you get to decide what goes on that page. What if, instead of seeing your past as something that limits you, you saw it as fuel? What if, instead of holding on to regrets, you use them as reminders of how much you've grown? Every experience, every hardship, every time you doubted yourself, it was all preparing you for this moment. Because now you know better. Now you see things differently. And with that awareness comes power. The power to rewrite your story, to choose a different path, to step into the person you were always meant to be. Right here, in this moment, something is shifting. You feel it, don't you? That quiet knowing inside you that says it's time. Time to stop carrying old fears. Time to stop living in the past. Time to become who you really are. This version of you, the one you're stepping into, is bold. This version of you doesn't ask for permission. This version of you is fearless, unstoppable, unshakable. And the best part? That person was always inside you. You're not becoming someone new. You're just peeling away the layers of doubt, fear, and limitation that kept you from seeing your true self. So take a deep breath. Stand tall. This is your moment. The past is behind you. The future is in front of you. And right now, in this very second, you are free. Free to rise, free to grow, free to create a life that feels true to who you are. Because you were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to be caged by fear. And now, you never will be again. Your calling has been with you all along. Think back to when you were a child. before the world told you who to be, before expectations, responsibilities, and doubts clouded your vision. What did you love? What fascinated you? What made you feel alive? Maybe it was storytelling. Maybe it was creating. Maybe it was helping others, solving problems, or simply seeing the world differently. That wasn't random. It was a glimpse into who you truly are. And even now, no matter how far you've strayed, no matter how many distractions have pulled you away, that calling has never left you. It's still there, quietly waiting, sending you signs. The things you're drawn to, the moments that ignite a fire inside you, the dreams that refuse to die, those are clues. Your purpose has always been whispering to you, nudging you, guiding you back to the path meant for you. So why do so many people ignore it? Why do we convince ourselves that it's just a silly dream, an impossible wish? Because the world conditions us to believe that our true desires are unrealistic, that we need to follow a path of safety, not passion. That success is measured by status, not by fulfillment. But deep down, you know the truth. You feel it, that pull in your heart, that unshakable knowing. It's not your imagination. It's your purpose calling you home. Here's the truth most people never realize. You don't need permission to step into your calling. You don't need validation from the world to pursue what sets your soul on fire. Your purpose has been waiting for you to claim it. Too often, we wait for a perfect moment. We wait for someone to tell us we're ready, that we're good enough, that we have what it takes. But that moment never comes because it was never supposed to. The only validation you will ever need is already inside you. Think of the people who inspire you, the ones who chase their dreams against all odds, the ones who built something out of nothing. Do you think they had everything figured out from the start? Do you think they never felt fear or doubt? No. The only difference between them and those who stay stuck is one thing. They decided to move forward anyway. And now, it's your turn. You don't have to know every step of the journey. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to take one step, then another, and another. Because every time you move in the direction of your calling, the path becomes clearer. Doors open, opportunities appear, and before you know it, you're living the life you were always meant to. But none of that can happen if you keep waiting, if you keep doubting, if you keep pushing your purpose aside, telling yourself, one day is today, right now. This is your moment to step into who you were always meant to be. Not tomorrow, not when things feel safer. Now, your next move, making the shift. Fear is like a shadow. It follows you, lingers in the background, whispers doubts in your mind. But here's the truth. Fear has no real power unless you hand it the keys. It's an illusion, a trick of the mind that convinces you to stay small, to play it safe, to avoid stepping into the unknown. Think about all the times fear held you back. How many opportunities slipped away because you hesitated? How many dreams have been delayed because you listened to that voice that said, "What if I fail?" But what if instead of asking, "What if I fail?" you asked, "What if this changes everything?" Because the truth is, failure isn't the enemy. Staying stuck is. Every successful person you admire has failed. Every dreamer who made their vision a reality stumbled along the way. But the difference between them and the ones who remained stuck is this. They didn't let fear decide for them. They felt it, acknowledged it, but moved forward anyway. It's time for you to do the same. Let go of the belief that you need to have it all figured out before you begin. Let go of the idea that you have to be perfect, fearless, or completely ready. No one ever feels ready. The only way to become ready is to start. So, take a deep breath, feel the fear, and then step forward anyway. Because the life you're meant to live is waiting for you on the other side of hesitation. This is where everything changes. Right now, you stand at a crossroads. One path leads to more waiting, more excuses, more maybe someday. The other leads to action, momentum, and transformation. Which one will you choose? Because the truth is, you don't need another sign. You don't need more time. You don't need anyone else to believe in you before you begin. The only thing standing between you and your future is one move. Just one step. That's all it takes. Maybe it's making that phone call, writing that first page, enrolling in that course, starting that project you've been thinking about for years. Maybe it's simply deciding, right here, right now, that you will no longer wait for the perfect moment. Because this is the moment. Small steps create big change. One step turns into 2, then 3, then 10. And before you know it, you're standing in the life you once only dreamed about. But it starts with action, not overthinking, not planning endlessly, not waiting for fear to disappear. Action. So what will you do right now? Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because your future isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to move. Final message. It's time to step into your power. This is your moment of transformation. If you're still here, still listening, still feeling these words resonate deep inside you, this is not a coincidence. This is a sign that something inside you is shifting, awakening, breaking free. It means you are standing at the edge of a powerful transformation, and right now, you have a choice. You can walk away, go back to the familiar, let this just be another moment that fades into the background of life. Or you can claim this moment as your turning point. You can step forward, step up, step into the power that has always been inside you, waiting for you to acknowledge it. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to dim your light. Every struggle, every challenge, every setback, it wasn't there to break you. It was there to prepare you, to shape you into the person you are becoming, to make you strong enough, wise enough, and bold enough to embrace the purpose you were destined for. You feel it, don't you? That energy stirring inside you. The part of you that knows you're meant for more. The part of you that refuses to settle for anything less than the greatness you were born with. Listen to that voice. That is your true self speaking. That is the version of you that has been waiting for this very moment to rise. Everything that has happened in your life has led you to this point. The pain, the disappointments, the lessons, it was all part of the journey. But now, you have to make a decision. Will you let your past define you, or will you let it empower you? Because the truth is, you are not who you used to be. You're not bound by old fears, by past failures, by the limitations others placed on you. You are evolving. You are transforming. Right now, in this moment, you are stepping into the most powerful version of yourself. But transformation isn't just about knowing, it's about choosing. You must choose to leave behind self-doubt. Choose to silence the voices that tell you you're not enough. Choose to trust yourself, believe in yourself, fight for yourself. Because no one else can do this for you. The world won't hand you your destiny. You have to take it. This is your time. No more waiting. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more waiting for fear to disappear. No more waiting for someone else to validate you. The only thing standing between you and the life you are meant to live is a decision. A decision to say yes to yourself. A decision to take that first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain, even if it scares you. Because every great transformation begins with a single choice. And this is yours. So, what are you going to do next? Are you going to let this be just another moment that fades? Or are you going to look back at this day and say, this was the day everything changed? Because right now, you're standing in the doorway of something extraordinary. And all you have to do is walk through it. Say it out loud. I am ready to rise. Let your voice carry the weight of this declaration. Let it echo through every fiber of your being. This is not just a phrase. This is a command, a shift in reality, a bold statement that declares to the universe, to yourself, to everything that has ever tried to hold you back, you will not stay down. Say it again, but this time feel it. Let the words vibrate in your chest. Let them break the chains of fear, of hesitation, of every lie you've ever believed about yourself. This is your moment to reclaim your power. No more shrinking, no more doubting, no more waiting for the right time, because this is the right time. Right now, comment below, I am ready. If you feel this shift inside you, if something within you is awakening, then write it down. Type it out. Declare it in the physical world. Because when you put words to your transformation, you make it real. Your voice carries energy. Your words create movement. And when you speak or write something with conviction, you send a signal, not just to yourself, but to the forces of the universe, that you're stepping into your power. And if you're feeling this right now, you're not alone. Others are waking up too. Others are stepping into their purpose. And together we rise. If this message spoke to you, if it stirred something inside you, then don't keep it to yourself. There is someone out there, someone who is struggling, someone who is lost, someone who is on the edge of giving up, who needs to hear this. You know what it feels like to be at a crossroads. You know what it's like to wonder if you're strong enough, if you're worthy enough, if you're capable of something greater. Imagine how different things would have been if you had heard this message sooner. So be the reason someone else wakes up today. Share this with a friend, with a family member, with anyone who needs a reminder that they were born for more. Let this message reach every chosen one who is ready to break free. And if you're truly ready, if you know this is your time, then let the world see it. Like, comment, share, not just as an action, but as a declaration. Let this be the moment you say yes to yourself. Because this is not just another message. This is your wake-up call. And now, the choice is yours. Are you ready?